Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special WIAA State Football Finals edition of Prep Rally. I'm Rob Hernandez. He's Dennis Semrau. Dennis, we're finally here at Camp Randall Stadium, where we'll be joined by 14 teams over 2 days on Thursday and Friday here at the stadium for the WIAA State Football Finals. And we start first in Division 7. Glenwood City brings in a 12-1 record. The defending state champions going up against Blackhawk, 13-0, 10 a.m. kickoff on that one. Seems to me the job number one for Blackhawk is slowing down Isaac Tuttle, who had a huge 4-touchdown game last year when he came to the stadium.
Yes, well, Blackhawk has just kind of cruised through the season. They had to beat Potosi twice, conference rival, which they were able to do in the playoffs. And that's a team that, from day one, we've wanted to see here. It also starts a run of 4 southwest Wisconsin schools. Draw a line through them about 50 miles apart, 7, 6, 5, 4, and they get to start it off 10 o'clock on Thursday morning.
10 o'clock, and they'll keep going all the way through 7 o'clock kickoff on Thursday night with local teams all over the place. Dennis, as we go to Division 6, another local team, the Darlington Redbirds, back in the state football finals for the first time in a while. They take on Shiocton, 12-1 Darlington, 13-0 Shiocton. Shiocton with a very good running back in Jacob Van Asten, also their top tackler. How do you see this one matching up?
Well, Darlington hasn't been here in quite a while, but they had quite a reputation for the state tournament. And I think the Redbirds, with their running attack in particular, it's going to be a running clock kind of game, but just keep the ball on the ground.
Keep the ball on the ground. 3 1,000-yard rushers for the Darlington Redbirds. Miles Leahy, Tanner Weigel, and Jason Singer, all trying to translate that success here on the carpet at Camp Randall. That game 1 o'clock on Thursday afternoon.
Think they can do it? How about 300-yard rushers in the same game?
That's happened here this year before. I'm not sure which team does that here on a normal basis, but I seem to know a red and white team that does that.
Good place for it.
Division 5, Dennis, the Lancaster Flying Arrows back for a record 10th state final. Well, at least it's a record until Hartland Arrowhead takes the field on Friday when they come for the 11th time. But a win would tie Lancaster with Stratford for most state titles. They'll try to get it done against another unbeaten Stanley Boyd, 4 o'clock on Thursday, Division 5 final. Stanley Boyd, how big a challenge for the Flying Arrows based on what they've done, especially rallying to beat Kewanee last week?
Well, they destroyed Kewanee. If you take a look at what happened, 52-26, the final. I think the seniors in particular, there's at least 5 players that were on the team of sophomores, 3rd time to state, 2 silver balls. They want a gold ball. That's been the mantra all year long. Most teams look at a conference title, getting to the playoffs. They thought state championship from day one. Here's their destiny, and I think they can fulfill it.
Well, yeah, and like I said, it would be a 7th state title, tying Stratford for the most. And John Hoke and what he's done there at Lancaster with that wishbone offense, so much consistency with the Flying Arrows.
Yeah, that, and on defense too. We talked about the defensive players coming back, a team approach, and John, as a longtime member of the Wisconsin Football Coaches Association, he's been the president. Nice to see him here.
Definitely. Division 4 rounds out the day on Thursday, and Dennis, it's an odd matchup to say the least at 7 o'clock. 9-4 Platteville, 8-5 Winneconne. I went back and looked, Dennis, at my brackets from when this whole thing started. Platteville was a 3 seed, Winneconne a 6 seed. What the heck are they doing meeting at Camp Randall?
Well, it's said the better you get as the season goes on. I mean, 2 teams, you got to realize 30th anniversary, the 1983 championship for Platteville. I wonder how many people from that team are going to be around cheering this younger version on.
Well, I know that one guy that'll be watching from afar, Paul Christ, the head coach at Pitt, will be, I'm sure, rooting for his Hillman on Thursday night.
One thing to keep in mind, Scott Stotts from Platteville, it's his first time to state. He is part of the Wanakee family, Wanakee grad. He's got a template already for this week.
He sure does. Now, we should talk about Winneconne. They are 8-5, Dennis, but they play in the very, very tough Eastern Valley Conference. That's Appleton Xavier, that's Wapaka, that's Little Chute, all teams that are big and successful. And obviously, Winneconne learned something from playing those teams.
Yeah, and the fact that all you have to do is get in the playoffs, and once you get there, anything can happen.
6 straight wins for Winneconne, and Platteville continuing to roll behind their quarterback, Logan Bunson. Dennis, I had a chance to see Platteville against Broadhead and made the comment that, we've talked a lot about William Cooley and what he's done running the football. And at that time, when that Broadhead-Platteville game, I said both those teams threw just enough to do it. But Logan Bunson now quietly 1,579 yards and 17 touchdowns. And holy cow, he's really catching fire at the right time.
Yeah, you like to be able to pass on this turf. We'll see what the weather's like. They're talking about 30s. You have to be able to run the football, but balance is a key here.
Balance indeed. Dennis, as we shift gears to Friday, 10 a.m. game here at the stadium to kick things off. The last local team in the playoff, the finals field, Monona Grove 13-0, going up against Greendale 13-0. I like the quarterback matchup in this one. Josh Ringelberg of Greendale has thrown for 2,665 yards and 38 touchdowns. And then you get Tyler Blank, who's rushed for 1,000 yards from Monona Grove and thrown for over 1,400 yards.
My guy I want to see is Mitchell Breeze. What a name. Wide receiver. 71 catches, 1,200 yards. Obviously one of the best wide receivers in the state. A big play guy. Will MG be able to shut him down? They were able to stop the running attack the last couple of weeks, especially Catholic Memorial, and their power and their size. So defensively, that's where MG, I think, has kind of been a little bit undersold this year. You look at Zach Kostinson at defensive end and Brock Offerdahl. By the way, Brock means badger, and his mom has been calling him Buck or Bucky since he was a little tyke.
Really?
So Offerdahl is here playing in the land of the Badgers. If that's not an omen for MG, I don't know what is.
Hashtag karma, but in the good way. I tell you what, Division II with another great matchup. Oshkosh North 13-0, Kimberly 13-0, two teams from the Fox Valley. Nate Naveau has rushed for over 1,000 yards, passed for 1,500, close to 1,500 yards for Oshkosh North, and just some good talent on the other side of the ball with Kimberly. And, of course, Kimberly knocked off Mequon Homestead to get here, and that was a team a lot of us had pegged maybe to get all the way here.
Not only knocked them off, they had a running clock part of that game, which would have thought that. And talked to the coach last night, the Kimberly coach. These are two teams that were destined to be here, both 13-0, one step away from a perfect season.
Division I wraps things up Friday at 4 o'clock p.m. Hartland Arrowhead at 12-1, Franklin at 12-1. Another matchup, Dennis, of teams from the same area, both southeast Wisconsin in the greater Milwaukee area. Heartland Arrowhead, two Badger recruits, George Panos, Billy Hirschfeld will be here. And then Franklin, the high-flying Sabres, have another quarterback. Remember Lance Barretts, who was their signal caller a few years ago, now is a wide receiver for the Badgers. But Sean McGuire has taken his place, and 2,730 yards, 22 touchdowns. We're going to see a lot of passing, I think, on Friday if the weather holds.
Yeah, McGuire, he's going to take a look, definitely get the Badger recruits. Hirschfeld's done a great job on the defensive side. Panos, a solid offensive lineman who's moved all around this year for them. So they're going to be right where they're going to be playing the next 4 or 5 years. Who'd have thought? Arrowhead loses early to Homestead. Yeah. Right. They cruise all the way through. I think they're playing with a little chip on their shoulder because everybody figured after last year they were going to come and breeze through. And they had to fight a little bit early, but they've been unstoppable down the stretch.
Target on the back sometimes makes things a little bit more challenging for the teams that we think are going to roll through a football season. And Dennis, speaking of rolling through a football season, it's taken us 13 weeks to get here. The state finals Thursday and Friday. This is the most exciting time of the year.
It is, and this is a week later than normal. We're going to be, right close to Thanksgiving, and we're hoping the weather just cooperates so that the players can play their best and not have to be bundled up.
Yeah.
Or maybe we might be throwing snowballs. Remember when Sun Prairie won in 1995? We were here for the snow, so you never know.
Yeah, you never know, and it's a nice day as we tape this here on a Monday, Dennis. But the wind is blowing. It's been we've had a lot of bizarre November weather, so who knows what's in store that way. But we can tell you what's in store on Thursday and Friday. That's our live blog here on WisconsinPrepZone.com. We'll finish out the season with updates, insights, scoring highlights from the 7 state finals games here at Camp Randall Stadium. We'll be here for them all Thursday and Friday, starting bright and early 10 a.m. on Thursday and going right through to about the dinner hour on Friday. For Dennis Semrau, I'm Rob Hernandez. Thanks for watching Prep Rally. We'll see you at Camp Randall Stadium.